class is on the difference between make and do. We're going to talk about why it's so difficult to know the difference, to remember the difference. A lot of students think, oh, I'm just a bad student. Is that true? We're going to talk about the difference between not just what they mean, but also the examples. How do we know which one to use? Are we going to use make or do? How can we remember? And then, of course, we're going to practice, and we'll have time for some questions as well. So to start off, no, you are not a bad student. This is something that is so difficult for many, many students because many other languages use just one verb for what we in English have as two verbs, make and do. Sometimes the explanations that you're given or that you can find online are confusing. Or sometimes they're just incomplete. Maybe they only give you a piece of the picture or lots of examples, but they don't help you to understand how you can determine the difference when you're trying to speak or write. Also, habits can be very hard to break. So even if we learn the correct way a little bit later, maybe we've been saying it incorrectly for a really long time, and it's hard to break that habit. Let's start with make. So to make it very simple, make is a verb we usually use when we think about creating something. So if we're producing or creating an object, maybe it's food, plans, maybe it's not an object, something we can hold, but it's a decision or it's an emotion that we're making someone feel or that we make ourselves feel. Also, when we're discussing communication, these are opportunities for us to use the verb make because we're creating something. So if you can attach the words make and create in your mind, that will help you to decide which one you should use. For example, create an appointment. We create an appointment. We're creating an opportunity to speak with someone. So this is having to do with communications. Usually we have an appointment with maybe a doctor or a coworker or a boss because we need to discuss something. We need to have communication. Also, we create a living for ourselves. We make a living. We make or earn money. We produce it. We create it by something that we do in exchange for money. So we make a living. Of course, mistakes. We make mistakes. We have created an opportunity to learn when we've made a mistake. So we might think, oh, I do a mistake. Don't do a mistake. It's actually make. And if you can think of it as I'm creating an opportunity to learn something new, this might help you to, one, remember that it's the verb make instead of do, and also to not feel so badly about the mistakes you make. Also, we use the verb make when we talk about doing something with our face that makes another person laugh or that expresses our emotion in a really dramatic way, like this little smiley face here, making a face sticking out his tongue. So he is making a face. We make faces at children all the time to get them to smile. For business, we make an agreement. We are creating an opportunity for business. We're creating an opportunity for communication when we make an agreement with someone. If we need to call someone else, we're going to pick up the phone and push the numbers, and the other person's phone is going to ring. Then we are making a phone call. I need to make a call. This means you will push the numbers and press send, and that will make the other person's phone ring. If you are answering a call, your phone is the one that's ringing, and you press, yes, I will accept this call, speak to this person, then you are taking a phone call because you are taking it from the phone, from that other person. Otherwise, you are making a phone call. You are creating an opportunity to speak with someone. So that's creating and communication. How about a choice? A choice. What do you want for dinner? You have a choice. So you make a choice. You are creating your future. When you make a choice or a decision, you are creating your future, producing it. So we use the verb make. Now, this next one sometimes might be confusing. The bed. When we make the bed, we pull the blankets up, we make it look pretty. And in that way, we are creating beauty. We are creating order. Yes, it's a task. It's a thing we have to do that oftentimes we don't want to do, right? But why are we doing it? So this has a lot to do with the motive. Sometimes we have to look a little bit deeper. Why are we doing something? We're doing it to make the room look tidy, to make the room look attractive. So we're wanting to communicate, hey, I'm a nice, tidy person. I take good care of myself and my things. So I make my bed. It also makes us feel happy when the room is tidy and nice and neat and the bed is made, right? So again, relating it to emotions. So this one is an excellent example of how sometimes we need to think a little bit more deeply about which verb we're going to use, whether it's make or do, because technically pulling the covers up and straightening out the bed, making sure that it looks tidy, that is a task, which you'll see on the next slide, is how we decide to use the verb do, is when it's related to completing a task. However, why are we completing that task? Sometimes that can help us to choose the right word. Some of these are a bit tricky, like make the bed, but it's a trick that can help you to make a decision in the moment, and it'll get you a little bit closer to getting the right one. Sometimes you'll just have to learn them by hearing them and hearing other people use whichever one with that particular action. So just pay attention to what other people are saying around you, native speakers, what you're hearing on podcasts, in movies, and make a mental note of the things that you use most often. Those are the things that you should focus on. The next one is a suggestion or a recommendation. So I just made a suggestion that you focus on the situations that actually apply to your real life. That is my recommendation that I make to you. So I am creating, again, an opportunity for you to learn something when I make a suggestion or make a recommendation. It's also applying in the sense of communication as well. Then, of course, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Anytime we talk about making any kind of food or a meal, I'm going to make breakfast. Should we go out to dinner or should we make dinner at home? I'm going to make a cake or make cookies. I'm going to make potatoes for dinner. All of anything having to do with the food or plans also. What are your plans? Let's make plans to go out to dinner next week. So that's food and plans. Let's make plans to get together later. Yeah? Just like an appointment. You're creating an opportunity. There's communication involved. There's creativity involved. You're trying to make or create, produce something new. Excellent. I hope that clears things up a little bit for you when it comes to the verb make. Now let's move on to do. Are you ready? Here we go. So we use the verb to do mostly with performing a task or some sort of function. Even if it's not specific, it's vague, it's just general, like everything. Yeah, oh, I have to do everything today on my list. I have to do everything around the house. I have to do everything for my company. That's not specific at all, but it includes a lot of things. Those are tasks that we have to perform. Even if some of those tasks individually we might use the verb make with. For example, let's say you have to make the bed and you have to clean the car, you have to pay bills, you have to go to work. I have so many things to do today. I have to do everything on this list. So even though some of those individual things might include the verb make, we're going to use the verb do when we talk about everything all together. So first on our list here is damage. If something does damage, if you drop your phone, it does damage. Yeah, damage is done. It does damage. It doesn't make damage. It's not creating. In this case, it's the opposite, right? We're not creating anything. We're destroying something. We are damaging it. So we use the verb do. If you are a scientist or you just like to learn things on your own, you might do an experiment. So anytime you try something new, this is a task. It's a function that you are performing. So we use the verb do an experiment. How about if you wash the dishes? This applies also with things like laundry. You're going to do the dishes or do the laundry because it's a task that you're performing. Excellent. How about business? Business, we do business. Would you like to do business with that company? Is that a person you feel comfortable doing business with? We do business with someone. If you are to make a business, this means you are going to create a new business, not that you are going to engage in the task of business-like things with another person. So for example, a company may make a business where they sell mobile phones. That is their business they have created. They have made a new business, but they do business by selling you a phone. For some of these, the meaning of the phrase will change if we use make instead of do. And we're going to cover some examples of those on the next slide. Next, we have work. So if you have made a business where you sell mobile phones and you have chosen to do business with a particular group of clients, you will get together to do work. So when you actually write the contract and sign the contract, you are doing work. When you get those phones together, you put them in the packages and give them to the customer, that is doing work. Also, maybe before you do your work, you might do exercise. What kinds of exercises do you do? This is a task that you perform. It's a function of keeping your body healthy that you're doing. Also, we do our hair. Now, this one might sound like it is something that's creative, right? Because maybe you're going to create a new hairstyle. However, we don't create the hair itself. So we use the verb do. We do our hair because we are going to make a particular hairstyle with the hair that we did not create. We simply are styling. So there's another example of how we can think a little bit more creatively, think a little more in depth about what are we actually doing, what are we creating, and what is a task that's being performed. To brush your hair is actually a task. You're not creating anything when you brush your hair. So we do our hair. Homework. So a teacher may make homework. A teacher may create an assignment and then give it to the students. And the students then are responsible for doing the assignment, doing the homework. That means they will answer the questions, write the report, create the projects, whatever the assignment is. But the teacher makes the homework by creating it, producing it, and the students do the homework by actually answering the questions. I hope that helps to clear up do a little bit. Again, it's a task. It's something that we are, a task that or function that we are performing. Excellent. Let's look at some examples of how the meaning might change, just like we discussed homework or business before. How does the meaning change when we use the verb make or the verb do? So for our first example, a puzzle. If you make a puzzle, you are creating it, you are designing it. What picture do I want? What size do I want the pieces to be? How many pieces do I want? That is making a puzzle. If you are the one who takes the pieces and decides which ones go together, you are doing a puzzle. So when I was a little girl, my grandmother used to do puzzles on the dining room table, and I would get to look at them. I was never allowed to touch the pieces, but I could look at them and say, oh, I think that piece goes there. So she would, in that way, allow me to do the puzzle with her. But we never made puzzles. We did puzzles. How about work? We talked about business, the difference between making a business and doing business. But work. This little boy is making work by taking all of his clothes out of the dresser. He's making a mess. He's making work. He is creating the opportunity for someone else to come and do work by doing laundry. And you can see mom on the right there. She has the laundry basket. She now has had to wash all of these clothes and fold them, and then she'll put them away. So she is doing the work of doing laundry because her son made work by pulling all of those clothes out of the dresser. Very good. Then we have the difference between making dishes and doing dishes. So when we make dishes, this is something I've always wanted to do, but I haven't yet. We are actually creating the dish itself. This is pottery. That's when we are making a dish. Sometimes we might use this for, oh, I'm going to make this kind of dish for the dinner tomorrow. That means we're using the word dish in the term, or with the idea of it being a meal or a kind of food that we're going to prepare. That's a possibility also. So we're either making the physical dish, the plate, the bowl, whatever that we're going to use. We're physically creating that piece. Or I'm going to make a dish, meaning I am going to create a specific kind of food. However, when we do the dishes, we are washing the plates, the spoons, the bowls, whatever. We're doing the dishes. We're washing, we're cleaning all of those, we're drying them, we're putting them away. Excellent. Then if we make something, this is a vague word, right? It's not specific. It could be anything. If we make something, we are creating something. Maybe we are sewing a shirt. Maybe we are making a snowman. Yeah, we are creating it. We're building it. If we are doing something, we are performing a specific, I have some things I have to do. This could mean I have to go to the store. I have to do some work. I have to pay the bills. I have to make some phone calls. It could be anything, but it's something an action that we are going to perform, not something that we are going to create. Makes sense? So make a puzzle versus do a puzzle. Make work, the little boy makes work, and his mom does the work. She does the laundry. The girl on the left, the woman on the left, is making a dish, and the two on the right are washing the dishes. They are doing the dishes. You can make something a product, or you can do something by performing some action. Fantastic. So now it's your turn. What do you think? I'm going to give you some words here. Here we go. Put them over here. What do you think of these? How about, let's start with how about an offer? You make an offer or do an offer? What are you doing when you offer to sell someone something? Let's say you've made this business of selling cell phones, mobile phones, and a client comes in to do business with you, and you are going to offer them a discount. Say, I would like to something and offer. I would like to make you an offer. I would like to make you an offer. So I would like to make you an offer. I would like to offer you 50%, 50% discount. Good. All right. How about a joke? Do you do a joke or make a joke? Do a joke or make a joke? Sometimes we use the verb to tell with jokes. What does tell make you think of? Communication, which would be make. He always makes the worst jokes. Yes? Let's check. Why you can't see my entire screen over there. Very good. He always makes the worst jokes to make. Excellent. How about a favor? Could you please make or do me a favor? A favor, to do something to help someone else. I just gave it away. Could you please do me a favor? Could you do something? This is an action that I'm asking you to perform. Could you please do me a favor? Yeah? Do me a favor. How about, this is a bit of a tricky one for those of you who wear makeup. So let's say you are going to apply your makeup in the morning. She does her makeup every morning. Did you think it was make? I could understand why you would think that. That's a really good guess. But let's think this one through. She does her makeup every morning. Remember, we do our hair. Because even though we do our hair to make it beautiful, to create something that's appealing, it's a task because we don't make our hair, right? We don't produce it. We don't create it. So we do it. The same with the makeup. If you make makeup, you are the one creating the products that are then applied to the face. If you do makeup, you are performing the function or the task of applying it. Excellent. How about, let's do another one. How about, let's go with an announcement. An announcement. What are you doing when you announce something? They need to, it's communication. So they need to make an announcement. Excellent. It's communication. So, and we're creating the opportunity for someone to learn. So we've got two ways to think about it there. Yeah. This one is a little trickier. Your best. Your best. Are you performing a function or a task? Or are you creating something? Our teacher always encouraged us to do our best. Yeah, to do our best. So we could even change this to our. My best, your best, her best. Very good. So that's going to be do, because it's a task that we're performing. Are you starting to see the pattern? Does it help to see them like that? To really think them through and think about, why are we choosing each one? Usually speaking, make will be with creativity, and do is performing a task. Less emotional. Make is more about communication, creativity, emotions, of course. And do is more about get it done, perform a task, be serious. Fantastic. That's so, so good. Okay, so now's the time to write down any questions that you have and go back and review the information again. If you still have questions, post something in the group and let me know. Tag me and say, hey, Paloma, I have a question. What do I do with this situation? Is it make or do? These are my thoughts. Yeah, and I will do my best to answer your questions and to help you out there. Thank you so much for being here for this module. I hope that you learned a lot, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.